Hey, it's Michael. I'm just coming in. Theo Michael talking to you live. Um, Bear with me as I open up and check to see that this is running live on YouTube. All right, we're live. So, again, welcome to Theo Michael Talks. I know it's been pretty infrequent, but it's the summer. We've got the commissions opening up for the convention season. Now, I am currently very, very busy working on a couple of projects. So I'll give you a little backstory. And for those of you that follow and my friends and family that follow a lot of the people that are here, um, I'm a nurse by trade. So I worked in long-term care. I was a medic in the military, nurse in long-term care and with pediatrics. And I still work as a nurse, but I started my own business a few years back of CPR training. So I'm in the middle of building that business and teaching a lot, in addition to picking up some shifts here and there. A lot of places are very short staffed. So I've been very, very fortunate to pick up a lot of hours and helps me to fund my habits, my collections, my goal to try and build my own comic book and all that stuff. So um it pulls me a lot of different ways. So I'm not going to be able to hit the comic book convention scene coming up at this time. Um, Hold on one second. I'm trying to see if I can see the comments here. I'm running off of the phone and trying to see if I can. No, I don't want to see them on stage. All destinations. I'm not sure. They've changed a lot of stuff since I've been on there. So, okay. That being said, let's talk about commissions. I used to be able to hit a couple of local shows, and I did this where I started with MegaCon, and I had a booth there, and I was able to do some things, and it was a lot of fun. Um, Again, I am learning and I am continuing to grow as an artist. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is I want to offer commissions. Now, the way I'm going to be doing the commissions, and similar to like you would do at the comic shows or the conventions, there is going to be some that are preset. So I have a bunch. As a big comic collector, I order a bunch of the um, blank boards or blank covers. So I'm going to work on a few, and some I'm going to do tonight, like Metamorpho. This is the facsimile one. This is the blank cover version of his first appearance in Brave and the Bold. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to pick some of the ones that are movies are coming out, and I'm going to do those ahead of time. And I will have those set at preset prices. So the prices are going to be based on the size and complexity of the piece. And I'm going to have lower price points for things that I do in advance. Then I will probably have a a different price point for things that are commissioned for a particular character or anything that I don't do in advance. So if I have it in advance and go through to be a certain price, then go through it. I'm going to post all that on here. You're looking at, depending on the size, I'm going to have some $5 options, and I'm going to have up to $50 options. And then depending on how much detail, how many characters, it'll go up. So for example, a $5 option would look like this. This one's actually for a friend already. This is her son. I'm going to give that to her. I'm working on a couple of things. There's a couple of things I like to do, and I like to share with people. So you're going to see this now for the first time, and I'm hoping if my friends will see it, they'll see I am thinking of them. So I did a little cartoon of her son, and it's 2.5 by 3.5 card, collect card, or artist trading card. Okay, I'm going to show you this. This is one of my favorite pieces, and I know he'll probably see it because he's a good friend and he'll always check in on stuff. But I created a whole set. I'm going to just flash these on here without, I want him to enjoy them more himself. But he's a big Zorro fan, and so I've created an entire set of Zorro characters. And his son stole one of his cards, so I went ahead and I'm going to give him one of those. Disney characters. These are preset, already done. I do these as practice, sometimes Conan. Sometimes I do them at the comic shop. Sometimes I'm doing them at work while I'm in between doing stuff. So it could be just me trying to work on something or something I've seen and trying to work on. But these are the $5 option. These are the cards. And it's going to be a variety of stuff. I'm going to see if I find something different. Here's an example of something I did that's just pencil work. So Angela. Let's see. So a $5 card, they usually will come, and I'll always seal them in one of these packs on here. An example of a $10 or $15 could be as something that I did for a project that was being going online. This is a block from the Legion of Superheroes. I don't think I brought it in with me. I did have a couple of bigger ones. Hold on. Find a good one to show you. Here's a couple that I worked on. This would be like a 15. Different sizes. Sometimes you'll get something where I'm working on a different kind of process. So you can see where I did some different versions of Doctor Strange. Actually, now that I find that, I want to work on it a little bit more. That will be worked on. Another example of a 15. Let's see. Occasionally there'll be a full set. This is be a 20 to 25, depending on how much, how many characters and the colors. So this is the kind of stuff. So I'll have things that I will post that are done. And then if you're interested, please just make sure that you email me and find out what you want to have. So what I'm going to do is, bear with me as I switch my camera, and we're going to do a couple drawings. Now that I'm looking at my Doctor Strange, I really have, you're going to see that I have a little mess, but oh well. Bear with me. I want to do my settings, change camera. Okay, so now we're looking at my art table. Okay, so if you like the new, I'm looking to see if it shows it. I've got a new, I'm going to have to figure out how it does on the display. But I do have a new logo that was based off of this one. And a friend of mine, Bri from over in the Philippines, he went ahead and he did it for me. Wonderful work. I've got to get him a couple of blank covers over to the Philippines for him to work on. Excellent artist. You guys got to check him out. I'll try to put a link on the bottom, so bear with me. All right, let's take a look. So let's look at what I got here. First off, I got a lot of stuff that I was just kind of working on. I ordered a bunch of supplies. So there's some videos I'm going to be trying to do to tape this week in between picking up shifts and teaching. But we're going to be talking about the different tools. Am I in focus? There we go. Different tools that I use. So I ordered some brush markers from Blick Studios or Dick Blick art store from online. And who was it? I think it was Mike. Oh my Lord, now I forgot his name. He's in England right now. He had mentioned it when he was down here teaching. He used to live in Florida, but he would do some classes, and I really like these. These are good alcohol-based brush markers, and I like them for little stuff. But I ordered a couple of different groups, so I'm going to actually be testing out the different markers as we go. This is the one I found. This was back from 22 when I was doing all these different Doctor Stranges. Some just sketches that I do for warm-ups. Mr. Terrific. I'm getting started with a lot of the characters that are going to be showing up in the movies this summer. This was by Cool as Heck, one of my friends, and he's doing Legion, like for Legion of superheroes. So I started doing a couple of Legion of superheroes that I've been using. I can't show you that. This is my Father's Day card for my mom. God bless. I love you, Mom. This is the roughs that I did for a sketch commission for somebody. And again, I really like Monel, and I was working on some ideas for Monel. So let's talk about commissions. So one of the things that I'm going to be opening up, and when I talk about the different tiers, when I post them, I've been trying out different materials, and I've been really interested to try out this Yatsutomo Japanese Shikishi paper. And it's a high quality art paper that's on a hard edged board, edged with gold, and it's used for ink calligraphy and watercolors. Now, I was really impressed with some of the work that Mike McCone, tremendous artist, and he has been doing, knocking it out the box with his stuff that he posts online. And when I saw a interview where he was talking about some of these papers that absorb the color so well, I was definitely going to try some to see what it's like. So I'll be working on some things. Those will be higher end. Here's an example of, this is like a $20 piece. I was working on a cartoon version and then trying to see how it colors. And this was one of the reasons I started getting some different markers, because I was running out of markers, and not all the ones I was getting from like Ross and different places, trying to get some cheaper or more affordable markers or the such. They didn't blend as well. So I'll be looking and seeing how well all these blend. So let's get started. And I didn't want to keep everybody long, but I just wanted to make sure that we go through. I will be posting all of the commission prices as tonight. Trying to make sure I'm in camera view. There we go. So I want to, let's see if I can keep that. Bear with me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out. There we go. Okay. So we're going to do, I want to do some Archie. Archie Comics is having a crossover, and they've done a couple of crossover already. So they're doing a crossover with Jay and Silent Bob, which is pretty cool. Done by a friend of mine, Fernando Ruiz, and it is going to be tremendous. I cannot wait. So, I don't know if I've told everybody before or mentioned it. I had an idea for a crossover because Archie has crossed over with quite a few. So if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But he's crossed over with the Punisher. He's crossed over with, I don't know if he's crossed over with Batman. He's crossed over with the Punisher. He's crossed over with the Predator. He's crossed over with quite a few people. And then he had that whole Riverdale, kind of like a 90210 version of Riverdale. So I had an idea with him crossing over with Superboy from the mid 70s, or maybe it was earlier than that, but the Silver Age Smallville Superboy. So you're talking about, Lana Lang, Pete Ross, the whole gang. Not Smallville with Tom Welling. I'm talking about the one with where Krypto first showed up and all that. So that's the one that used to be a part of the Legion of Superheroes. So I've been trying to get a handle for Archie characters and figuring out how to match the two. Now, I have an idea for a story. I'm not going to put that out there as far as what that idea is, how they meet and why. But being that they're both in high school, it should be a pretty easy way, in my mind, that they meet. And then how they interact, which should be pretty cool. And I think the company that has Archie Comics Company has really shown the flexibility of the character. And I have to give them credit. I mean, they've allowed people to do a lot with these characters to keep them relevant. Now, I'm old enough to remember when they had the Archies, like a variety show music group, kind of doing like the Monkees or the Beatles and all that stuff. I don't know how long that lasted, but I do know it's a memory that I have in my head. All right. And I'm learning how to do these little hair curvatures for him. Now we have, I almost forgot his. There you go. There we go. We got Archie. So again, If I did this as just a card, that would be a $5 jam. I could color it up and go through. I'm going to be experimenting with some of the colors this summer. So just like in a convention, when I sketch or when we draw, I'll talk with the people and then find out what they like or what they want to see, and let's put some people on this page that might fit. One of the things I'm trying to do while I'm sketching in my head is a story of what I want to portray with my pictures. A lot of times when I sketched in the past, it was either copying or trying to mimic somebody else's art style or something. And so like this one, I was looking at reference. This one, as you can tell, I'm trying to fill out. I'm trying to feel out what I want to put on there. And something I had to learn as I draw, there's always an ugly period for drawing. There's a point where you're just like, it's got to take shape. And, you know, as you get more skilled, I mean, I look at some of these artists, like you would see those artists like Todd Nook, Mike McCone, Mark McKenna, Jimmy Palmiotti. When they draw, they can kind of get the shape of what they want, especially if it's something that they draw a lot of. But when they get that going, you don't really see the ugly part because they kind of have it in their head already, especially if it's something that they always draw all the time. And this is kind of like me trying to figure out there we go. I don't like how that's going. Just change it up a little bit. And here we go. A little bit better what I want. And this is our straight and narrow Clark. And back when their heyday had those little sweaters. There you go. So let's see. Betty or Veronica? Since Lois, well, no, it's not Lois. Back then it would have been Lana. Lana would have been a redhead, so let's go ahead with Veronica. Veronica's a little sassy too. Ooh, no erase on that one. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna do. Hmm. I'm gonna switch to a tighter pencil. There we go. A little better. Sorry, I'm not talking much. Just gonna focus on what I want to get onto the paper. All right. I ain't gonna lie, she looked kind of rough there for a minute, but I think I pulled it off. Let's see. Lana Lang. I gotta find Lana Lang. Lana Lang. Silver Age. And reference is always, always good. Oh, this is a good picture. looking at some of these Silver Age pictures and remembered Kurt Swan and those guys working on these Superman characters. They just had this quality about them. It's easy to forget how much draftsmanship they had back in those days, especially the guys like Kurt Swan, that they had a real almost fashion um, design style, almost like a mixture between what they did with commercial art and fashion art. And during that term, during that whole crackdown on comic books, and when they initiated the comic code, a lot of them switched to soap opera type comics, and it's just incredible to see some of the draftsmanship that they have. Now, when you look at some of the design panels and things that came about later with Neil Adams and Barry Windsor Smith and all these wonderful artists, Bill Sienkiewicz, that's much later. You can see where there's a difference, but it's tremendous to see, go back and look. You take for granted just how talented some of these guys were, especially Kurt Swan. Kurt Swan was just something else. His Superman just really, between, I guess, him and Rain Boring, really says a lot about Superman of Earth 2 to me. And it was what they were doing at the time, but for me, that's always what Earth 2 Superman. But I think not only that, but just looking at it like what's his name? When George Perez did Superman, kind of almost making it as his likeness from George Reeves, to kind of give him that whole idea. Especially that barrel-chested look. Gotta take out the edge. All right. So again, these are quick sketches that I just did now. Again, an example of some of the things. Again, I really want to have fun with this. I'm hoping to raise funds so that I can continue to get more supplies and things like that, and start going to some of these conventions. So I do plan to hit the convention worlds next year. I think let me switch back here for a minute. Okay. For this year, the plan is I'm trying to raise some funds so I can make it to the Minnesota Twin City Con. I'm going to go visit a friend of mine up there, and hopefully some other friends that we've met online, and we collect toys and talk about comics and toys and everything like that. I do want to try during that same weekend to stop by the New Jersey Legion Con. So I'm hoping that we can get that done. So if you're interested, please send me a message on Instagram and Insta message me, and I will definitely follow up with you, and we'll see what we can get done. And also look for some sales that I'm going to be putting on eBay of some of the stuff I already have done. So if you see anything that interests you and that you're interested in purchasing and doing some stuff, definitely give me a buzz. Thank you so much. Have a good night, and see you in the funny papers.